Who took the
serotonin
from the trick-or-treat bag?
The ghost took the
serotonin
from the trick-or-treat bag.
Who?
Yes, you.
What?
Then who?
Who took the
serotonin.
What does Hocus Pocus Zero Focus mean to you?
When we came up with the idea to have the exhibition at first, the easiest way for me to start coming up with a concept for a show is usually just to have like a starting point, a catchy title. We were looking around at some unfinished works that I had, and this somehow just like popped out from the others somehow as a good catchy title, the painting that says Hocus Pocus Zero Focus, and it was actually an unfinished painting at the time. But then somehow it grew into being the poster and graphic elements of the promotion for the show, so it just I decided to just leave it as it is. The title itself basically just relates to this feeling that I definitely have, and I would assume a lot of people, where you just somehow can't stay in focus and your mind's like all over the place at times.
Do you think an online interactive show can bring out new aspects of your work, also by having the in-between narrative which introduces each painting?
Definitely. Doing this show online was an interesting experience on its own, as I'd never done anything like this before. But what got me more interested is perhaps the sound aspect of it, or perhaps like put some texts, like introductory text or like narrative text on the walls as well. But the sound aspect especially, like to perhaps you have an exhibition that has like 3 or 4 different rooms, and then each room has their own little, like a loop in the background or something that for 20 minutes it's completely quiet, and then
Oh, look! My nose! What's happened?
Perhaps you haven't been telling the truth.
like once an hour something pops up for like 5 minutes or something like this. It's definitely something I will think about for future exhibitions.
Could you briefly summarize the storyline of the exhibition?
When we started putting the exhibition together, the initial idea was to make it look like some kind of a like a crazy trip or like a journey, and then I somehow would be the your partner on this journey, or like, come on people, let's take a walk with me through this crazy web show or something like this. We're just briefly scratching the surface of like finding meaning in life, or like being a bit lost, and then obviously the easiest things to do is like, yeah, let's try love, let's try drugs, let's try getting wasted with your friends. But there's like plenty of more topics that I would have loved to touch on this. On the other hand, you can go endlessly if you keep adding pages and pages and pages. So since we chose this format, we had to somehow, like, there was an end to it.
I feel like your paintings have a sort of digital feeling to it. I mean, the font and text you use, and also the various images borrowed from media or pop culture. How do you come up with this witty phrases, or where do the images come from? Can you explain your work process a little?
The process is more like a, you could say like a collage process, but I would say more like a sampling process, like as in how a hip-hop artist might take a sample from one song, speed it up, take something from another one, and then on top of this like add their own lyrics or rap on top of that. Well, like how a DJ would work somehow. I would more connect to these like musical references. The imagery I try to take, how would you say, to use stuff that is not considered to be something that you should be using in the fine art scene, like take tattoo designs or like children's coloring books, or like free use clip art, and then transfer this onto the canvas, juxtapose the text or various images with each other, and then come up with something that is new. The text itself comes from just thoughts I have here and there. Sometimes like a song I listen to might, like a phrase in a song, or something someone says in a YouTube video, you know, something I see on someone's t-shirt, or like a bag on the street, or whatever. And then I just like scroll these things in my head, flip them around sometimes, add something, take something away, change the context a bit. And then the work process itself is, I usually work on like 10, 20 paintings at the same time. So I would put something on one painting, leave it to sit there, add something on another. It's sort of like a fashion designer or something like this would work. It's this is why I work in series as well. So the whole series somehow has like a similar visual feel to them, or like not a narrative, but maybe like a visual style that I was doing it at a certain time. So it would be like why I bring the fashion example is like if I finish with a series, I would like to call it like Spring Summer 2021 by Kennet Lekko or something like this, you know. So yeah.
What are you working on right now?
Trying to somehow figure out a way to maintain myself as a freelancer, a freelance artist, at a time where it's impossible to do then gallery exhibitions. Then alternatively, trying to work on my web presence. But at the same time, definitely just a lot of work in the studio. I'm doing a bunch of material, I wouldn't say research, but material tests to get to widen my visual effects or approaches that I'm working with glitters now and trying to figure out like metallic effects and this like somehow like just like painterly effect things. And at the same time, the most important is just to keep working. I have a bunch of 2 new series in the works at the moment.